Alright, so obviously Sirfetch'd is going to be walled off by Tropius very easily, and you really don't have to worry about any charge moves here because they pretty much tickle Tropius. And then, yeah, if they're running Brave Bird, that's a different issue. That completely flipped this matchup in one shot. Hey everyone, so today I'm going to recap my 17 win streak that I hit earlier this season in Great League, and it's with a team that I've previously used before, but I kind of want to elaborate on. So the line is Tropius with Sableye and Umbreon, and with the upcoming move updates, this line honestly will probably be even better, just because there aren't any nerfs to these movesets, and on top of that, many of their counters are also being nerfed. If you haven't seen my previous video on this line, feel free to check it out down in the link below. Getting into the battle, so I'm going to cover pretty much all my 17 wins in a row, and then also the match that granted me the loss, as well as some other unique matchups. So Hypno in the lead is not a terrible matchup, especially if they're not running Ice Punch. However, you have two Darks in the back, so you really want to match up one of the Darks with Hypno. So right here, anytime you land a return, you're in a really good spot, because now you can win switch pretty easily. So obviously having return Sableye is very important here, and then my opponent actually goes for Play Rough too, and then I'm going to throw this last foul play to take it out. Obviously I'm at a shield disadvantage right now, but now I have I'm able to kind of match up my Umbreon against their Skarmory, which is pretty important because Skarmory is a very hard counter to Tropius. I've gotten a lot of comments in my past video on difficulty of getting Tropius, and obviously because it's a regional exclusive, it is kind of difficult. I highly recommend though you hit up your local trade channels to see if any of your locals have access to Tropius from previous events or they traveled. Just because myself personally, this is not a regional for me either, so I did have to kind of hustle a little bit for it. But yeah, that's pretty much Pokemon Go. You gotta grind for the things you want, right? If you want it. Okay, so I purposely don't shield the Hypno right there, because if they're running Ice Punch, I could just farm down the Hypno if they take out my Tropius, and if they're not running Ice Punch, then I want as little health as possible on my Tropius so that the Skarmory can't farm. So going into the Tropius mirror in the second match, so pretty much unless they're running the same line, most Tropius leads are pretty weak to Double Dark in the back. And almost everyone actually baits with Leaf Blade first, so I still shield just to be safe, but yeah, almost everyone I've seen does bait with Leaf Blade first. And then for some reason my opponent is going double Leaf Blade again, so at this point I'm just going to let it go, just because they're going to spend all their energy on this Tropius. I'd rather have the energy here to farm down, so I'm going to pretty much get a little bit of energy lead before dropping Foul Play, and then taking out the Tropius right there. Here comes a Skarmory. This is actually really bad, mainly because Skarmory is a counter to both Sableye and Umbreon. It's much less reliable against Sableye if you have shields up. I was making sure I was counting the fast ones right there to ensure that they weren't going for an Earthquake right there. I'm going to shield the second one though, and then now I'm going to farm some energy. So the big thing here is I need to land a return on this Skarmory, but I don't think... Oh, they actually go Power Punch. My guess is they weren't able to get to Foul Play fast enough, and that's fine. And then now we're going to come in with my Umbreon. It's going to do a lot of damage because they already have a boost, but the thing is Umbreon's very tanky, and it's going to be able to take out the Skarmory from there. Alright, this is actually a really positive lead with Sirfetch'd. There's really nothing that could really threaten Tropius unless, of course, they are running Brave Bird, and as you saw before, yeah, that's not a good look. But most probably will not be, and most will probably be running Leaf Blade with close combat, or Leaf Blade with maybe Night Slash for coverage. Yeah, as you can see there, that's an animation glitch, but this is a really positive situation because and there's no way that Umbreon beats Sableye, and then they come with Bastiodon. So this is very interesting. Bastiodon does pretty much beat everything in this line, but it's a very close match with Umbreon, and then with this much damage done to it, there's nothing really to worry about. Now, I'm going to save the shield for my Tropius just because Umbreon can handle these Stone Edges much better than Tropius can handle them. And then just in case they have a Brave Bird on their Sirfetch'd, right? You want to just save a shield just in case that does happen. And then I come in here quickly with my Tropius. I think we did a simultaneous swap, but this is totally fine with me. Come I'm going to let this go just because if it's Brave Bird, it's, I'm not too worried. And then I think my opponent just conceded right there. Alright, so going to the next matchup, we are going against a Drifblim. So Drifblim is obviously a pretty tough counter for Tropius, especially with that double weakness to Ice. My opponent actually does shield the first move, so this is perfect. I would rather lose this counter swap with a shield advantage than be on even shield, so that's why I decided not to shield the debuff move, and then this Rock Slide should take me out. This is not a great spot because Tropius is not very reliable against G-Fist, especially without Razor Leaf, but you can still handle 2 Rock Slides in most scenarios. So I am going to be able to spam off quite a few Leaf Blades, and I actually go for the catch on the Rock Slide. This is going to do very minimal damage, and it's going to be very positive for me. And then I think I'm just going to throw the Rock Foul Play. Yeah, I was a little worried. I don't want to have to shield Earthquake if I didn't have to. They actually come in with Drifblim. This is actually a really good sign. If they're coming Drifblim into an Umbreon, something is weak to Umbreon in the back. I'm not going to shield the Icy Winds though. They're not going to do that much. I have the 2 shield advantage. And then here comes the Hypno. So as predicted, pretty weak to Umbreon in the back. And I'm going to swap out to my Tropius right here. Main reason for this, clear the attack debuff. And then actually able to land a Razor Leaf too. Or sorry, Leaf Blade. And then now I can pretty much just farm down this Hypno. Really nothing to worry about here, so I'm just going to snarl it down all the way and then have 2 foul plays, almost 2 foul plays ready for the Drifblim. And some people have asked me why foul play over Dark Pulse, mainly because it's more spammy. Dark Pulse is technically very slightly more energy efficient. But yeah, it's not a huge deal. I like the foul play more because the spam and getting off more charge moves often works out better, especially if you're trying to burn the clock. Alright, so my opponent counter swaps into a Skarmory, and this is pretty good because even though Sableye does beat Skarmory in the 2 shields, I'd rather save the Sableye for later because you don't really need to shield the Umbreon. So as I say this, I actually do lose that matchup. So let's see what they come in with next. I'm hoping it's not another Tropius counter, and it turns out they're actually very weak to Tropius in the lead because they don't really have a check to it because their Skarmory's their only check pretty much. At this point, I'm in a very good spot. I could just tank whatever move they're throwing at me, and then even this Azumarill is going to pretty much could lose to Sableye if I decide to shield. I think I'm going to choose not to shield and just finish off Tropius. Tropius has a very good matchup against both of these, and they're running Play Rough Azumarill. Ooh, this is brutal. Yeah, without Ice Beam, they're really, really weak to Tropius in the lead. So I'm just going to farm down here, and then just throw the Arrow Ace and take out the Toxicroak. So yeah, my word of advice for my opponent is, you don't want to swap in your only Tropius counter if it's leading. However, it is a very tough matchup for them because they really don't have any other reliable answer. Alright, so again, another Drifblim lead, very unfortunate, but Toxicroak matchup with Sableye is not too bad. You actually could flip that, and flipping that is huge because now I have a Sableye with energy and also Umbreon in the back. I'm surprised they didn't bring in Mandibuzz actually. I think that might have been a misclick. But Mandibuzz is very good against the team, so I'm still not in the best of situations for sure. Let's see, and then so it looks like they're not running Aerial Ace and they're only running Foul Play and Shadow Ball. So I'm going to try to wear down this Mandibuzz and then also catch the Foul Play. I guess I didn't really need to do that because my Umbreon already has a really great matchup and they are going to concede the match right there. Alright, Deoxys Defense. As I mentioned in my previous video, Deoxys Defense is pretty weak to this entire line. It pretty much can lose to everything, especially Tropius with shields. However, Sableye and Umbreon are much better matchups against Deoxys Defense than Tropius is, so you want to draw out the Azu if you can, and as you can see, that's pretty much what I do right here. I go for double return right here, and I do land the second one. This is good because I'm going to shield this Ice... Oh, no, I guess I don't shield it. Huh, interesting. I probably would have shielded it looking back on it, but I guess that's fine. I assume that Deoxys Defense come back in. I'm going to bring in my Umbreon right here, and they have an Umbreon in the back too. So I guess not shielding that was probably the right call looking back on it, because that Umbreon would have been able to tank the Foul Plays pretty easily from my Sableye, and Switch Advantage wouldn't have been that big of a deal, right? It would have helped a little bit because Umbreon has a better matchup against Deoxys Defense, and Tropius has a better matchup against Umbreon than the Umbreon Mirror, but I think having that even shield is much more useful in this scenario. Alright, so I'm just going to spam Last Resource. I'm not too worried here. And then here I quickly come in with my Tropius, get a slight energy lead. I know I could take the foul place pretty much, so if I could catch one of those, that's great. But if not, no worries. I'm going to shield the Rock Slide because it's going to do the most amount of damage out of all the remaining moves to my Mons. So you want to just use those shields as efficiently as you can. Alright. Going for another Rock Slide, that's totally fine. And I'm going to, unfortunately, get to Leaf Blade a little too late, but they actually go for Psycho Boost. This is perfect. I still could land the Leaf Blade. They actually come in with the Umbreon too, which, I don't know. It's kind of a weird catch because now I have the Foul Play ready. I think it would have been better if they just lost the Deoxys Defense. But yeah, I think they wouldn't have won that anyway, but definitely a close match. Alright, another Azumarill lead. Azumarill is honestly, with Ice Beam, kind of annoying to deal with because the Ice Beam does a lot of damage, and because Azumarill is so tanky, you need at least 2 Leaf Blades to pretty much come close to taking it out. It's pretty much Leaf Blades with the cumulative Air Slash damage, right? You know, I still think that the coverage of Air Slash makes it way more versatile than running Razor Leaf, and also with the impending Razor Leaf nerf, it really doesn't make much sense, I think, to run Razor Leaf after the next few days. Alright, so here comes a G-Fist. I do swap to Sableye. Main reason is because G-Fist is not it's not the worst matchup with the backline, but I really want to draw out something else that might be weak to Tropius in the back. The main reason is they didn't swap out Azumarill with a Tropius lead, which means they probably have a third Mon that's kind of weak to Tropius. So that's why I just want to save it for later, just in case. I'm going to farm up a little bit energy. I know it's probably going to be Earthquake, but that's fine. Umbreon is very tanky. It's still good tanky, and they do concede the match. So I have no idea what they had them back, but probably something weak to Tropius as well. Alright, Toxicroak lead, a very great lead. If they go straight Sludge Bomb right here, you could just let the next move go because there's no way they get to the next Sludge Bomb. This one's going to be a Mud Bomb. So just tank it, and you have a lot of energy on this Tropius. Again, they're not swapping out right there. They're weak. They are probably weak to Tropius in the back end. As you can see, they are with Stunfisk right here. I actually safe swap my Umbreon right here. I probably should have safe swapped my Sableye instead. Mainly because with the shield down, the Tropius matchup is kind of tough. Or sorry, the Skarmory matchup. So let's kind of see how I play this out. Obviously, I do not lose this match because we are not at game number 17 yet. But I do go for a quick energy lead with my Sableye, recognizing that I probably want to save my Umbreon for a little bit more chip damage on the Skarmory. So as soon as that switch clock is up, I am going to swap to Sableye right here. They do double shield. That's pretty good for me, but again, this is still not a great spot to be in. So I do have a little bit of energy on my Umbreon, so I'm going to throw the Foul Play. I know that they can't really take me out unless they throw a charge move, but they are energy dry. So anticipating this, all that extra energy from Toxicroak is coming in handy. Leaf Blade itself, why Leaf Blade over Aerial Ace? Leaf Blade is more energy efficient. If you get two Leaf Blades off, it's always better than one Aerial Ace, right? So Galvantula, how do you play this lead? I don't think I covered in my last video, but what you do is go straight for Leaf Blade because they're going to debuff you anyway. A lot of them still shield, and then what you do is swap to Sableye right before they get to the next one. My opponent actually there was really close, really good about swapping out. A lot of opponents will actually just throw the lunge, and then you get your Sableye debuffed. But that's totally fine because now I actually win switch, and they're down a shield, and they might have to spend another shield. So them not throwing that lunge actually kind of came in handy. Alright, so I'm going to come in with my Tropius. Again, I still have a little bit of energy from before. I'm going to throw the Leaf Blade, and I just let this move go, just because if they're letting their Galvantula go right there, the chances are they have another Tropius counter in the back, right? And of course, you can see they do. It's going to be a Skarmory, so I'm going to save 2 shields on my Umbreon against Skarmory, and that's going to be a very easy matchup. Even on even shields, it's going to be pretty solid, but especially with 2 shield advantage. And my opponent is going to concede right there. Alright, Toxicroak again. Like I said before, very positive matchup. Again, probably someone that's very weak to Tropius leads because they swap in Azumarill. And Azumarill is definitely a check to the rest of this backline, so you definitely want to stay in here. Sableye will be fine against Toxicroak. Even Umbreon, which shields down, can do quite a bit to Toxicroak because 2 Last Resorts will take out Toxicroak. Alright, I decided to swap out here. I don't want to spend another shield, and then we're going to just pretty much finish off this Azu with my Sableye. Toxicroak will probably come in, but it's not a big deal because it's not going to have a great matchup against Sableye. So, yeah, I think they were lagging a little bit there. Kind of unfortunate. I tried to pause a little bit, but you know, by that it was a little too late. Alright, so my opponent does throw a Mud Bomb right here. I'm going to shield it. I have a bunch of energy on the Sableye. It could be useful, and as you can see, this Foul Play is going to come in handy against the G-Fist. And then here, I'm going to come in with my Tropius. I don't want any extra farm down from this G-Fist on my Sableye. I just have to wear this down as much as possible, and then my Umbreon could easily clean this up in the back. Yeah, so a lot of coverage against meta. Again, with the impending nerf coming, Rock Slides are not going to do nearly as much. It probably still be 3 Rock Slides to take out Tropius anyway, but in some other matchups like Sableye, it's not going to do as well. Yeah, Shadow Skarmory lead. Talk about getting hard countered. So here comes Swampert right here. I'm going to go straight for the return. If they don't shield this, then I can flip the matchup. They smartly decide to shield. So because of that, I'm not going to shield right here again. Leaving a safe swap here with a shield advantage is much better than losing with the shield uneven shields. So my opponent actually right there decides to double shield. This is a good spot for me. I'm going to just let these moves go. I guess I go straight for the Hydro Cannons, and that's fine because I want as little farm as I can get with the Skarmory on me. And then so I'm going to bring in my Umbreon. Here comes Venusaur. Very interesting pick. It is going to do a decent amount of damage, so I'm probably going to have to shield at least one of these Frenzy Plants. I might have to shield even 2. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, they come in the Frenzy Plant, that's fine. And I think I just try to snarl down. I'm going to just double shield. A lot of energy on this Umbreon, which is good. And then they really need to throw, I think, 2 or maybe 3 Sky Attacks to take me out, or a Brave Bird. But if they go Brave Bird right here, the Leaf Blades are going to hurt quite a bit from Tropius. So, as you can see, I just bring in my Tropius, try to snipe him down with the Leaf Blade, and that's going to be enough. So even against a Shadow Skarmory lead, this line still has a lot of play. It's really about managing those neutral matchups as much as possible. Alright, Azumarill. This looks like it might be a Throw Tacticals line, so it's going to be Azumarill, Shadow, Marowak, a little Marowak, and Sableye. Generally speaking, I bring in Sableye into Marowak because Umbreon just has a lot of great neutral matchups in the back, and it doesn't need shields as much as Sableye, so by then you can save your shields for your Tropius. I am going to shield the Ice Beam right here because that's going to do a lot of damage. Ends up being actually a Abomasnow in the back. So this is actually kind of rough. Abomasnow is a very strong counter to Tropius, but it is totally fine because Umbreon is quite tanky, and these Foul Plays are going to do a lot of damage. And get to 2 right here. Let's see if they shield. I don't really need to worry about shielding this Umbreon too much. I need to save a shield for sure because that Azumarill could take it out with the Ice Beam. They go straight Weather Ball right here, and then I swap to my Tropius right here. At this point, I'm going to let the Ice Beam go. I know I survived the Ice Beam, and I want as little farm for the Abomasnow as possible, right? So they choose not to shield there. Maybe the play is for them to shield that, because now I have 2 Foul Plays ready. Umbreon would not be able to take out Azumarill at that range if I didn't let the Leaf Blade. So a slight misplay by my opponent, but able to continue the streak because of that. Alright, and so going into Tropius against Skarmory, so another terrible lead. It's not Shadow Skarmory, which honestly is probably worse because it's quite bulky. I don't think you really need Shadow Skarmory, but landing the return right there, pretty huge. I am going to let this Body Slam go because this is going to be resisted. This is perfect. I'm able to win switch without even having to spend a shield, and I have energy. Yeah, that's really good. That's very good. So they come in with Stunfisk right here, and these Foul Plays hurt Stunfisk a lot. If I was a Stunfisk user, you probably want to shield the Foul Plays because they're going to hit harder than most other moves. I guess I don't know the rest of my back line, but I think Foul Play will probably do the most amount. Or Leaf Play's close too. But either way, not stressed out here because I am going to do a lot of damage with this Umbreon, especially in this matchup against Skarmory. I don't shield the first one just because I know it can't be a Brave Bird. I'm going to shield the second one, obviously, because this is my only Skarmory counter, and my trophy is already quite low. Always want to keep track of your energy, knowing that I have a Leaf Blade already charged up. Who knows if I need to use it right away or not, but definitely good to keep track of. Great sack swap by my opponent right here. It's pretty much their only slight win con, but I think unfortunately it's still not going to be enough, and I'm going to drop the Foul Blade right there. Alright, against another Deoxys Defense lead. Again, it really just depends on what the backline is, but Deoxys Defense in general is not that great against this line. Alright, and also another contender where the Rock Slide nerf is going to hurt it. So you're going to expect to see probably more Thunderbolts, which is great for this line at least. Alright, Umbreon, very good check to my Sableye right here. I'm going to throw the Foul Play just to do some chip damage. They smartly decide not to shield. This is good though. I don't mind tanking these Foul Plays because the Foul Plays aren't going to take me out. And I'd rather just farm down and build up this energy advantage because I'm going to be within one Rock Slide away from getting taken out anyway. This is really good though because now I can farm up a lot of energy with my Umbreon and get a huge energy lead. This will be very important for the G-Fist matchup because it is already a close matchup, but with an energy lead, it's going to be quite huge. Alright, so right here I need to see if I call their baits or not. They do go Rock Slide. This is perfect. If they went Earthquake, I'd be in a tougher spot, but I figure with 2 shields, I probably want to bait. So at this point, I think... Oh, I call again. Yeah, oh my gosh. I'm not really sure what I'm thinking there. I guess I'm thinking like, okay, I guess my Tropius can handle this with energy too. Do I shield? I still don't shield. Wow, I don't know what I was thinking that day. I mean, clearly it worked, but that's pretty gutsy, even by my standards, I think. Alright, I am going to go for the Leaf Blades right here. I think I just didn't want to get countered down by the Deoxys Defense as well. But this is actually going to be kind of a close matchup. No, I guess not. The G-Fist is kind of energy dry. I could farm down this Deoxys Defense after shielding, probably twice, and then land the Leaf Blade. They are going to go, yeah, they have Psycho Boost Thunderbolt, actually. Oh, and we actually timed out there, so ended up working out. Yeah, calling those space was wild. Alright, so Tropius first, Raining Castform, great lead. And then they bring in Deoxys Defense, also a very good spot to be in. I like to take the first move, charge up a little bit more energy. I probably could charge up a little bit more, actually. That was a little bit premature. I could have got maybe 2, maybe 3 more Shadow Claws, but that's fine. I'm still in a very good spot, able to maintain my switch advantage. I'm going to just let this go because they throw right away. I was going to go for the return, but not too worried there. And then here comes Skarmory. 2 shield Skarmory versus 2 shield Umbreon, no big deal. Big thing they could be worried about is they try to catch a move. That's really their only play right here. Is to burn the clock, try to sack their Raining Cast to preserve some of the health on the Skarmory. But again, Foul Play is going to apply a lot of shield pressure. If you had Dark Pulse, you wouldn't be able to get off as many charge moves, and you're not able to really chip away at your opponent's shields, right? So now both shields are down. This is good. And as predicted, they come in with their Raining Cast. I probably should undercharge this one. I guess I go full charge. That's fine. Honestly, at this range, even the Skarmory can take out, or even the Tropius can take out Skarmory if they don't throw a move here. So they do throw their Sky Attack, and that's fine. And then I have my Foul Play ready. Yeah, this is a very tough lead for my opponent's team, unfortunately. Sorry about that. So my camera battery actually died, so I'm reshooting this last half of the video. And so Haunter lead, definitely something you don't see too often in Great League these days. But anyway, with 2 solid counters in the back, it definitely makes sense to safe swap right here. As you can tell, this is going to just be a power punch from my opponent. And I'm going to let this next one go as well. If the Skarmory doesn't shield the return, you can actually flip this matchup very easily, which is pretty much what I'm going to do. Umbreon against Haunter is going to be great for the back end. And my opponent does come back from Haunter, and they have an Azu. Azu 2 shields versus Tropius 2 shields is going to be an easy way to handle this. So I am going to finish off this Azu. And they actually are running Play Rough too, which means this is very bad for them. They pretty much have no answer to Tropius right now. Haunter is a solid answer, but with such low health, it's not really going to do enough. Yeah, they're going to double shield there, and then come in with the move right here. I'm going to shield this just to preserve my Tropius, and then come in and farm down with my Umbreon, and finish off the Azu with Last Resort. Again, you definitely want Last Resort on Umbreon. You really can't go without it. I think it's a very good elite TM contender if you have a good Umbreon to spend it on. Alright, So, if you've been keeping track, this is game number 18, and if you know the streak total, then you'll know what's going to happen here. TZ Spence, very great player. I've battled before, and Abomasnow is just a very rough lead in general, so in the hands of a good player, definitely going to be a tough time. So they actually swap in their Sableye right here, which is making me hopeful that they're weak to Dark in the back. So I go straight for the RLers. You could probably go for Leaf Blade after you have the energy for it, because pretty much everyone still ends up going and shielding. But yeah, and then I was a little slow to my switch, and he catches the foul play. Man, talk about extra plays by my opponent right here. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go for Last Resorts. I'm in a very tough spot, to be honest, even if they're running Hydro Pump and not Play Rough. I'm not going to shield though, and they actually are running Play Rough or Hydro Pump. So my play right here is just to like whittle down this Azu and put it within Leaf Blade range, but they go straight for the Ice Beam, so it probably wouldn't have mattered. I was hoping to just drop a Leaf Blade on it and take it out, but yeah, at this point, I could pretty much just try to farm it down, but this Abomasnow has way too much health in the back end. Yeah, undercharge right here. I don't know what I'm doing right here. This is not a great match, but the Abomasnow already has energy. Typically, opponents will bring in their Azu when you safe swap Sableye, but I think my opponent might have known my line and recognized it, or they just decide to play out that way. It's kind of interesting, but usually when you draw the Azu, it's not a big deal. So obviously, if this line picks up in popularity, people may recognize it and be able to strategize against it. So really well played by TZ Spence there. Okay, so going into some other matchups that I wasn't able to cover in my last video. So the Mirror, how do you play this, especially if the line gets more and more popular? So this is obviously a battle from earlier in the season, but it is going to be a mirror match, and as you could probably predict, most Tropius will probably be running Air Slash in the future, especially after this Razor Leaf buff, Razor Leaf nerf, and if that's the case, you're going to see a lot of Tropius mirrors in general. As I said before, almost everyone throws a Leaf Blade first for some reason instead of going straight Airway, so maybe you don't have to shield the first one. I just like to, just to be safe. I do bring in my Umbreon here after saving a little bit of health left on my Tropius, but my opponent is up in energy in their Umbreon. So let's see how I play this out. Something to note, I have played the Mirror maybe 3-4 times so far. I haven't lost one yet, so if you're going to be the one that breaks my streak, kudos to you from the future. But yeah, let's see kind of how I usually play it out. It is a lot of neutral matchups, so that's something to think about here. And yeah, they're pretty much, I think it's pretty much neutral matchups throughout, except for really Tropius landing aerial ace. Everything else is pretty much neutral all the way through. So what that means, especially in neutral mirrors, is you really have to manage your energy well. So I get to another foul play, charged up, and I swap to my Sableye to snipe down their Umbreon. And then they try to catch a foul play, and unfortunately it didn't work, and then they're going to concede the match right there. Okay, so Bastiodon double Razor Leafer, especially double Shadow Razor Leafer. I almost never safe swap Umbreon except for this matchup. Anytime you see a Bastiodon lead, pretty safe to assume that there's two Razor Leafers in the back. Who knows? That might change after the next update, but it's kind of a gamble I take every time I see a Bastiodon lead. So right here, with a Razor Leaf nerf, it's going to be even better for this line because you're going to have much better matchups with Umbreon versus the Razor Leafers. Because Umbreon's already kind of close in that regard, but it's going to be pretty good here. And they come in with Shadow Victory Bell. If they came in with Shadow Victory Bell right away into Umbreon, they could probably flip that matchup or like maintain switch advantage. But with the nerf to Razor Leaf, that definitely won't be the case, right? So it's not something you have to worry about. But right here, Sableye does really well against Bastiodon. It's very glassy, but it also hits very hard. Those Shadow Claw damage adding up, as well as the foul play. Despite Bastiodon being very bulky, Sableye's really kind of able to even the playing field a little bit. And they actually end up simultaneously KOing right there, and that's because the Leaf Blade from Tropius really helped soften up the Bastiodon there. My opponent throws the Acid Spray, and then it's going to be GG's. If they had Sludge Bomb, that might be a different issue, but it ended up working out. So another double Razor Leaf from the back line. Tropius is actually a pretty tough one because Tropius is so bulky, and so that bulk in general is kind of hard to deal with. So my opponent right here is actually going to stay in a little bit and chip down my Umbreon. This is a really great play by my opponent to maintain switch advantage because this ensures they will maintain switch advantage throughout. However, the drawback to this kind of play is that my switch timer is going to be up much sooner. That's why I like foul play right here because you really burn the timer with multiple charge moves. So I finish off with a foul play still stored and I swap to my Tropius. I decided not to shield here, although this might be a mistake, because I'm thinking, alright, I want to save the shields for Bastiodon, but as you can see, I don't have a lot of health on my Mons left, and if they have a Shadow Victory Bell in the back, that last 2 shields are really not going to help Sableye much, right? So I do end up throwing all these Leaf Blades, and then I'm going to switch my Sableye right when the timer's up, so I'm not taking too much smackdown damage. And as predicted, it's going to be a Shadow Victory Bell. So my opponent does shield there, and then Raise to leave me down. So as I mentioned, I probably should have used the shield earlier. I'm making this matchup way harder for me than I needed to. I'm going to shield the Acid Spray right there, and then Barely Survive, have a Leaf Blade ready for the Bastiodon, and I still have my Umbreon with the Foul Play ready. So as you can see, very crucial here, but still able to win it out. This matchup in the future, obviously, will be a lot easier to handle once Razor Leaf gets a nerf. So, something to look forward to. Alright, Galarian Stunfisk lead. Again, another Mon that is going to get nerfed with a Rock Slide, and Azu as well. Against Azu, you usually could get off 2 returns if you shield, or if they maybe even land Ice Beam. With a nerf to Bubble, that is definitely going to be even easier to do if they're going straight Ice Beam instead of Play Rough. But I was able to grab a shield, so I'm okay with that. And then now I throw this next Leaf Blade. I was counting their moves to make sure that I'm going to throw. I threw that last Leaf Blade instead of farming down because I knew they're going to get to another Ice Beam if I didn't. I'd rather take out the Azu and force them to be in a situation where they have to spend their shield or leave on even shields. The main reason why I say that is because if they have, like, I don't know, a hard Tropius counter in the back, there's really no need to have all that extra energy on Leaf Blade, right? If they come with G-Fist, that might be different, but you don't know that, right? So my opponent right here hasn't swapped out yet, which means that they have another counter for Tropius in the back, so I'm just anticipating that, so I quickly swapped my Tropius to really get rid of this energy. And I catch an Earthquake. That's always a great feeling, and honestly, might have saved this match for me. So let's see how it goes. As predicted, they have another Tropius counter in the back, and luckily my Umbreon still has a bit of health. Shadow Bone, another move that's getting nerfed. Like I said, a lot of the typical counters for this line are getting nerfs, so the line should really pick up in usage. The biggest fear is really like Alolan Ninetales and Charmers. If they pick up in usage, then this line will definitely struggle a bit. So something to watch out for. Able to finish off the Alolan Marowak and just snarl down the G-Fist right there. I hope you like seeing my 17 win streak run earlier from this season. I've really enjoyed using this team myself in the past 2 or 3 seasons. So hopefully this team works out well for you, especially after the moveset updates. We'll definitely see how useful this team is, but as I mentioned before, a lot of the moves that usually threaten this team are getting nerfs, so looking forward to it. A big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would like to have early access to some of my strategies and lines or in-depth analysis into my teams, feel free to sign up through the Patreon link down below. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.